watching Newsfeed AM. Let's try and get into this conversation one more time. Hopefully the connection is much better. And it's got to do with the nominations that have been announced by the ANC of the top 6 nominees for the positions of president, deputy president, and the list goes. And we speak now to former ANC Women's League president, Bathabile Dlamini, who joins us via the virtual platform. Perhaps this is punishment for you and I, Mambata, because I constantly invite you to studio, but you refuse to come here. So we're going to have to suffer the consequences. Let's continue on that theme of this top 6 being characterized as a top 6 of scandals. You were still answering that when we were interrupted by the connection.
Thank you, Tony. Yeah, maybe next time I'll try and come to the studio. Tony, you know, when you have power struggles, you hear all sorts of things. And when in your family you have your fights and you take them out, hang your linen out there in the open, you are giving people a storyline. When you are always inward looking, you are arming the enemy or anyone who is against you to develop a storyline to discredit you out there. So, and I think this is what is happening. It's not all these things have not been proven, and it is as if they are there. They are the honest truth because they've been fed to the public, and now they are coming back to us.
Well, let me...
And right now, let's be honest. There isn't anyone who is like a squeaky clean. And when... You know, at the beginning, I regretted for saying we all have our small things. And I regretted thereafter.
Why?
Because I thought that was too much. But we see as things go on, there are people that do big things and they look as if they have not happened. And there are people that do small things, or there are people that do nothing. And because those things are built up into big things, they end up being seen as big things. And this is because of politics, and it's because of power struggles. And power struggles will always be like that.
All right. Let me come in there for a second. And I will say to you that there's absolutely nothing wrong with being honest. I think perhaps what you are saying now is that that was an unguarded moment and maybe you said too much. But that is what South Africans will appreciate when you are reflecting. Anyway, let's then move to the lack of female representation in these nominations that have been announced. Why are we here again, Ms. Dlamini?
It's because one, we are a patriarchal society. Two, it's because after Nasrec, we did not go back to the drawing board to plan as women and feminists. Whilst patriarchy had a plan, and a full plan, and it is being discharged now. It started being discharged long ago, sidelining some of the women that were at the helm of the campaign of representation of women. The disbandment of the Women's League was part of the plan. Understanding issues of gender equality and feminism is a process. So if you bring in new people, they don't understand that you have to go through processes. If you want a woman, for instance, as the Women's League, we are a branch. A branch has one vote. So you have to nominate. After nominating, go to provinces and lobby with them. After talking to provinces, you go to branches and lobby with branches. And so that the process goes up organically.
Let me come in here for a second. Please allow me to come in for a second.
Yes.
You cannot use, and I'm going to say it because I think that's what it is. You can't use the excuse that the Women's League, because of its disbandment, this was part of a plan to disenfranchise women from coming through and being nominated. Why do I say this? Because the Youth League also stands exactly in the same position, but they have come out to express who they are going to throw their lot with. Who is the Women's League preferred president candidate, for example?
The Women's League nominated President Cyril Ramaphosa.
And why did you not nominate a woman?
Because I'm saying, actually, this was a plan.
And so you're comfortable going with the plan?
It's not about being comfortable. It's about having your own meeting and then voting. And that is how democracy works.
And so there we are.
And then the candidate that won is Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa.
Okay, so that's democracy.
That was our people, other people that were nominated are even not counted there. So even our meeting, an anomaly happened there.
Why do you call
it? There were extra delegates that were invited. In the Youth League and the Veterans League, there were no extra delegates. And so, that has not been looked into. No one spoke about it.
Okay, all right. So let me conclude the conversation here. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. What you have just said is exactly perhaps where the problem is, that the Women's League going into this conference have nominated President Cyril Ramaphosa, and as you say, it was a democratic process within the Women's League. Is the Women's League, are women in the ANC not their own worst enemy, so to speak?
Only there are three other women. There are three women that were nominated. But because of the lack of understanding of the processes and the system, those women are nowhere except for Phoebe.
And Nomvula Mokonyane.
Only Nomvula was not nominated by the Women's League.
Wow.
that is why you have to understand processes of the ANC and also understand how you deal with the issues of women's emancipation. It's not just an easy ride.
All right.
It's a hard work.
Let me do this, Bathabile Dlamini. Let's
Yes.
you and I agree that we owe each other a studio visit. Do we agree? Because
That's
there's
fine.
lots to talk about.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Bathabile Dlamini, the former Women's League president. Let's take a break. When we return, the freshest headlines at the top.